Things have changed since the last Apocalypse Joust. More survivors have made their way to safety under the bridge. But it's a more dangerous and unpredictable world. Natural disasters can strike at any time. It's still survive or be destroyed. Welcome to the Apocalypse Joust.
So far in the Apocalypse Joust, we've had an 8-round match, a 3-round match. How long will this one go? Let's take a closer look at the teams for Qualifier 3 of the Apocalypse Joust. First up, it's Blinding Blitzkrieg. They are equipped with whatever they can find to fight. The Highway Hooligans have some good weaponry as well, and they look bouncy. Something about that car looks familiar. The Pyromaniacs are here to light some fires. The Scrapyard Scavengers are an interesting mutated mass of metal monsters. And the Recco Crew, a formidable looking group of competitors. And we're gonna plunge right into the Joust. We've already got a random event alert sponsored by Track Buffer LLC. This time the track buffer has been replaced by a giant rat. Chassis Slider will start us off for the Scavengers, sponsored by Swamp Hobby. Chassis Slider sends the rat flying, tumbling over and over. The rat makes a full recovery, and now the ramp is in position. We'll see how that ramp functions. Dodge Challenger up first for Blinding Blitzkrieg, sponsored by PriceX Private Parts. The Challenger takes that ramp and does a nice job of making the recovery happen, flipping over and pivoting at the last second, landing 100% upright. It will survive the round if it stays like that. Firestorm is up for the Pyromaniac, sponsored by Scrapyard's Used Body Parts and Service. In a previous custom joust, there was a team called the Key West Crew, and they had a very similar looking vehicle. Let's see if this one has the same success. So far, it has. Pro Stock Camaro for the Highway Hooligan, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. The Camaro gets caught up on the Slider's ramp and flips over and might just be the first elimination in this round. And now it looks like the ramp might be a little out of place curbside. The Recco Crew decides to strike with Double Feature Creature, sponsored by Sicken. Double Feature Creature looks deadly and proves that it is immediately by taking out that ramp. Chassis Slider has been dumped off the track, and now a new ramp takes its place. Wheelie's got a ramp stopper. Will it work? Sponsored by Reaper EOD. Wheelie cannot get underneath Double Creature Feature. In fact, its undercutter breaks off completely. It drives off the track and goes sideways and out. That is going to be 2 down for Scrapyard Scavengers. Double Creature looks pretty much pinned in place. Next up is the Chevelle for the Blitzkrieg, sponsored by Farty Marty. The Chevelle takes off over that jump, hits the wall with a little bounce, uses those prongs on the front of the car to handle the impact, and survives. Going down for the Pyromancer's Phoenix, sponsored by Chorgoth the Infinite Horror. Phoenix hurls itself off that ramp into the wall and then flips around a couple times after some jostling for position and makes a recovery. Great agility on that thing. The Ford F-150 Lightning going down for the Hooligans. Wow, the Ford F-150 goes way up into the air, almost tries to escape the whole arena entirely, and reaches a 10, almost to the top of the wall, then lands square on top of Firestorm, flips over using Firestorm as an off-ramp, and it survives a height of 10. Amazing, and we have not seen that so far in this competition. Zinger 21C, sponsored by Judy Collins for the Recco Crew. Zinger ramps it and flips right over, goes upside down, wheel still spinning. It cannot find a place to make that landing happen. We just saw the key. You got to go up to a height of 10 and get out of dodge. The Zoomobile, sponsored by Sand Dragon Workshop. Zoomobile also hits that ramp and may have made a recovery. It looks close right now. We'll see where it is at the end of the round. Doesn't do any favors for Zinger. Zinger's still sideways. Rev Rod, sponsored by Star Corps Industries. Rev Rod, usually very agile, but the bottle cap on the front of it actually prevents it from fully ramping here, and it just kind of flops over and out. That cap on the front kind of prevented it. Kerosene, sponsored by DYW Production Labs. Kerosene with a speedy jump into the wall, and it doesn't quite make the recovery. It does find a spot, but cannot twist it over in time. That'll be a loss for the Maniacs. Coming down next, Bulletproof, sponsored by Hendrika's Heavy Hauling. Bulletproof zooms straight into the Zoomobile and knocks it around a bunch. It flips over upside down, can't find anywhere to recover. It tries in vain, and now it looks like the Zoomobile has recovered. Black Phantom for the Reco crew. Black Phantom slams into the wall, goes sideways, does not make a recovery, and we are seeing some serious damage done by Double Feature Creature. Speaking of damage done, I don't know what has been done to this thing. The Transporter, 192 grams, sponsored by the Aardvark of Freedom. This conglomeration of metal and vehicle parts hits the ramp and bounces off. Pieces are flying everywhere. It slams up to a height of 6 with the back end before it finally crashes into the ground with a mighty heave. But that landing almost seems like it had a purpose. It has righted Chassis Slider. Chassis Slider made a recovery on that hit. Rapid Responder, sponsored by the Test Joust series. Rapid Responder with a little leap and a little boop, and it finds a landing spot. Finds a great recovery spot, and it looks like that thing is going to make it to the next round. Flamethrower, sponsored by Coffee Run. Flamethrower flips into the wall, flips off of it, and makes a recovery. Great news for the Pyromaniacs. It hits a 6 before it finds a nice open area to make that recovery happen. A lot of eliminations in this round. I'm seeing about half the cars out right now. Iridium, sponsored by Sloth's Automotive Sachet and Buffet. Iridium ramps and flips immediately into the wall and gets wedged in there. Cannot make a recovery happen. The ramp on the back end hits a 6 before it gets caught. Gets kind of wedged in there. Over on the right-hand side, though, Black Phantom just made a recovery for the Reco crew. Next up for the Reco crew, Dracaris, sponsored by K&E Stewart Agri-Services. Dracaris shoots off that ramp and slams into the wall and just kind of stays straight and steady. I don't know how the vehicle managed to do that. The axe hits a 6. That thing's got the magic of a dragon or something, staying balanced like that. Meanwhile, Iridium is trying to make a recovery here. Tailwind, sponsored by King Jester. Tailwind piles on to the ever-growing mass of cars. Some pieces break off after taking that ramp. Does not surprise me. There's a lot of pieces on that thing. No eliminations, though, and it stays alive. The Scania Rally Truck, sponsored by Tim the Bear Neal. Rally Truck takes the ramp, flips over sideways immediately. That big implement on the front did not stop it from taking the ramp, and it is toast. It may have taken out Tailwind in the process. Blaze going down now, sponsored by Mark the Music Lover. Blaze takes that ramp and bounces off the rally truck, goes way back over, flips around once just for fun, and then makes the recovery happen, staying alive for the Pyromaniacs. Sushi Tuner, sponsored by the Mad Brit King. Sushi Tuner takes the ramp and goes up over the rally truck, flips around a couple of times, and I think it made a recovery. Looks like it found a place to land, and it looks like it's probably not beyond 45. Formula None, sponsored by Chris and Kat's Casa de Chaos. Final car of the round, it takes that ramp, and did it make a recovery? It flips back over, and I do believe it made it happen. Surprisingly, despite that mass of cars and destruction, only 8 eliminations, though we are going to take 3 measurements. A lot of odd angles in this pile. Measurement number 1 on Sushi Tuner looks like that vehicle is alive at 40 degrees. Zoomobile also scrapes by at 42 degrees. That'll be a survive. Tailwind confirmed out at 62 degrees. That'll take the total eliminations up to 9. All 5 teams still in it. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Pyromaniacs and the Reco crew looking good right now. Only lost 1 each. Blinding Blitzkrieg and Highway Hooligans each lost 2. Biggest hit was the Scrapyard Scavengers, who lost 3. Junkyard Joust just hit a new milestone on YouTube, 8,000 subscribers. Thank you everybody for subscribing, and if you are new to this, please subscribe so you can see more episodes. Cheers to all of you who have supported the show over the years and made it possible for me to keep doing this. So glad you're here. Reco Crew gets the start, and you know they're going to start off with double creature feature. That's looking like a tough vehicle to get dislodged off the track. Some vehicles like Firestorm relish a chance to go off of a ramp. A nice gliding leap right there, and then a push over to a recovery. Looks like there's some merit to this design. Dodge Challenger comes down next, and whoa, it actually stops the ramp. Whatever is on the front of that thing actually prevented the car from taking the ramp. We'll see if that pays off on the next hit. Next hit provided by the Pro Stock Camaro, which makes the hit, causes some massive damage, and then flips over upside down. The Challenger gets taken out in a bad way by that attack, and it is finished. Chassis Slider comes down next and almost gets in position with its own ramp, but starts to tilt off to the left. This does not look promising. Next up is Dracarys, which rolls over upside down after a weird bounce from that axe. Just can't quite get back over again. Gets caught up on the track, it looks like. And look at that, Chassis Slider appears to be safe. Phoenix ramps. Oh, a bad bounce there, and it comes back, gets caught in the safety area upside down. Looks like they might have lost one. Pyromaniacs down one. The Chevelle with a magnificent leap bounces off the wall again, uses those prongs to good effect, and a great level recovery. The F-150 Lightning takes the ramp and doesn't go up to a height of 10 this time. Still gets some good height, but can't make a recovery. Gets caught in a little mess. Turns over sideways. Hooligans lose one. Zoomobile has a low front, and it sort of pays off here. Does not take the ramp, however, then flips over sideways and blocks the ramp. Scavengers may have actually prevented this ramp if Zoomobile can stay there. Phoenix almost rose from the ashes on that hit. Formula Nut scoots underneath Zoomobile, gets it off of the track, and resets that ramp. Reco Crew knew exactly what they were doing with that hit. They want that ramp back in position, causing damage. Flamethrower for the Maniacs, however, does not mind that ramp at all, plows straight into the fence, and then lands in the safety area. An easy survive. It'll be back next round. Rapid Responder kind of tussles with the turned over Zoomobile, and then it turns over itself when it hits that ramp and flips around. Little barrel roll there, but can't quite make the recovery. Sushi Tuner slams into the wall, turns around, faces the other direction, right side up, showing some great agility for the Hooligans. And now we've got a random event. This one sponsored by Emo Dingo. It is an acid spill, level 1. Looks like something toxic has spilled out of double feature creature, and now whoever comes down next is gonna have to contend with it. The Black Phantom it will be. But Phantom dispatches with the acid instantly, just bounces right over it, makes a recovery, and look at that, Phoenix has risen from the ashes. Doesn't look like that acid spill did a whole lot of damage, may have actually helped Black Phantom. Blaze flies off the ramp into the wall, and look at the agility on that car. A couple pivots, a spin, it looks like it could be bad, but then it's not at the last second, they survive. And that was the final car of round 2. It looks like there are 5 eliminations and 1 measurement. It is on the Zoomobile, and this time the Zoomobile is beyond 45 degrees, 50 degrees, it's out. That'll take us up to 6 eliminations. Let's have a look at the aftermath. Tough round for the Hooligans and Blinding Blitzkrieg. They each lost 2. They just have 1 remaining, as does Scrapyard Scavengers. All 5 teams still in this. Reco Crew loses 1 down to 3. And Pyromaniacs, a perfect round with no losses. They will start us off in round 3. Blaze heads down the track and slots into position. To be followed, of course, by Double Feature Creature, who tries to take Blaze out, but Blaze is very agile and just drives off. At least for the moment, Blaze is good to go. The ramp is set. Sushi Tuner takes that ramp and takes out Blaze in itself in a blaze of glory, but unfortunately can't make a recovery, ends up sideways. Double elimination. And if this keeps up, I don't know if we're getting around 4. Chassis slider with a very inelegant leap off of that ramp and a flip over to complete upside downness. It is finished, and so are Scrapyard Scavengers, but it sure was fun to watch them in action. The Chevelle hits that ramp, goes into the wall, turns around, makes the recovery. It's a weird angle, but that is indeed a recovery under 90 degrees, vertical. Firestorm comes down next, takes a shot at the Chevelle and bounces off to safety. Another recovery for that vehicle. The Chevelle's kind of sliding down a little bit. And it takes another hit, this one from the Black Phantom, but it doesn't go well for the Phantom this time. And that thing flips over. It is certainly done. Reco Crew loses one. Flamethrower takes a shot next, hits the wall, actually hits the Chevelle, then hits the wall, but then slides down the Chevelle, flips over, and makes that recovery. That thing has been doing superb. And that's great news for the Pyromaniacs. Formula None takes its teammate's ramp, hits the wall, and does not make a recovery. Looks like it's gonna, but then it just kind of topples over left at the last second and out. Final car of the round, Phoenix smashes into the Chevelle and takes it out, turning it over sideways, and then lands itself way over against the wall after hitting a 6. Phoenix with a devastating takedown right there, because now Blinding Blitzkrieg are done. That was their final car. They needed that car to keep going, and this match has just come to an end with a dastardly takedown. An unbelievable 6 eliminations in round 3. I think that Chevelle would have recovered on another hit, but there are no more hits coming down. Phoenix survives at 77 degrees. Let's take a look at the aftermath. All 3 teams that only had 1 car remaining were all eliminated. Blinding Blitzkrieg, Scrapyard Scavengers, and Highway Hooligans. Reco Crew lost 2 down to just double feature creature. And the Pyromaniacs, the outright winners of this match, with 3 remaining at the end. 5 points for Blitzkrieg and the Hooligans. Not sure that will put them in contention for the wild card. But I can tell you that the Pyromaniacs and the Reco Crew have won this round and will be moving on to the main event, joining these illustrious teams that have already earned their position. 6 teams are in, 6 qualifiers to go. Next time on the Joust, the main event continues with the return of the industrial accidents. Now I'm heading for the tent. Dust storms are coming. See you next time, everybody.